There's a real feline out there that sometimes weighs up to 900 pounds, or about 400 kilograms. You probably thought of big cats like lions and tigers, but nope. This creature isn't exactly a lion or a tiger. It's actually a mix of both. That's right, the liger, a creature that's a product of captivity. It lives in a cage and has no way to escape. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at this amazing giant and find out what this strange creature really is and how it even came to exist. So stay with me until the end of this video to get to know the liger better. Imagine it's a day off and you decide to go to the zoo. You've got your camera in hand. You're full of energy, ready to film some exciting animals. Then suddenly, you stop in front of a huge cage. You can't believe your eyes. A giant, calm creature is swimming on the other side of the bars. It looks like a lion, but there's something extra about it. For example, it's lion-colored, but you can also see faint tiger stripes on it. Sometimes spots can even be seen on his legs. In short, it's something between a lion and a tiger, a true hybrid, a liger. But how is such a thing possible? As you know, a hybrid is a combination of two different species from the same family. In the animal world, when, for example, a lion and a tiger, different species but from the same family, mate, the result is a hybrid animal like the liger. So the formula is a male lion and a female tiger fell in love and their offspring was born. This giant liger. Of course, hybrid animals usually aren't seen much in nature because different species often have very different habitats or mating habits. For example, lions live in Africa and tigers live in Asia. So the chances of a lion and a tiger meeting each other in the wild are almost zero, unless one of them uses a dating app with a really wide radius. Alright, I'm just kidding. But jokes aside, a liger isn't a wild species that you can just find in the middle of the jungle. Nature never puts these two together. Every liger that exists on Earth was born in captivity. Usually, they're found in zoos, private wildlife parks, or to be honest, in bizarre collections where people are looking for another strange animal to shock others with. But that's not all. Next, we're going to tackle bigger mysteries and answer these questions. Why does this genetic combination behave so strangely? What problems do ligers have? Or can they even survive in the wild at all? Are ligers capable of reproduction? How long do they live? And can they even be considered a distinct animal species? Ligers are really huge. Their weight can reach up to 400 kilograms or 99 pounds, and even more. They are usually bigger than both their parents. Why do you think that is? The reason goes back to the genes of lions and tigers. In fact, each of these animals has its own specific system for stopping growth. But when these two are combined, that braking system doesn't work properly. That's why the liger keeps growing for a long time after birth and becomes even bigger than both the lion and the tiger. It's like you've given a house cat a cheat code to grow as much as it wants. Joking aside, what makes this animal so big is actually a completely genetic issue. In fact, scientists say this happens because the level of the IGF hormone isn't regulated, since this hormone directly affects body growth. If I want to give a real example of this, I should mention a liger named Hercules. This giant creature holds the Guinness record as the largest feline on Earth, and is also the largest living liger in the world. It lives at the Myrtle Beach Safari Institute in South Carolina, USA, and weighs over 418 kilograms, or 922 pounds. When it stands on its two legs, it is over 3 meters, or about 11 feet tall. Interestingly, despite his massive size, Hercules is very gentle in his behavior. As you can see, in many videos, trainers are seen playing with him, touching him, and even hugging him. The reason for this goes back to the behavior of ligers, which we'll get to know more about shortly. They are also a strange mix when it comes to behavior. They might be somewhat social like lions, but also love water like tigers. Many times, you'll see ligers lounging in the middle of a pool as if they're at a spa. If lions saw something like that, they'd probably be furious, because in lion culture, swimming is forbidden. Still, this mix of behaviors can lead to a whole world of consequences. Now, I should point out right here that the liger is a man-made animal. Nature didn't create it to fill some ecological gap. They only made it because humans thought it was cool. But this brings up a whole bunch of issues. For example, are ligers even healthy? Can they even reproduce? And could they survive in the wild at all? It's true that the liger is the biggest feline on Earth and looks like a top predator, but it spent its whole life in a cage and never learned how to hunt. All its life, someone has just tossed a piece of steak over the fence of its cage to feed it. Break time equals 0.5s/. Now imagine a liger with that kind of mindset being released into the wild. On the surface, this creature has claws, muscles, and a powerful jaw. In short, on paper and in theory, it seems invincible. But in reality, the liger is helpless in nature. In the wild, it's important to be able to hunt, stay cool, find shelter, avoid injury, and keep going day after day. And that's not something ligers have learned during their lives in captivity. Why do you think that is? Well, the first problem with the liger is its size. Sure, it's great for scaring others, but not so much for survival. Its large body uses up a lot of energy. A liger has to eat several kilos of meat every day just to maintain its energy. It can run fast once, maybe twice, but after that it overheats or gets tired. I mean, the liger has the power to take down big prey, but first it has to catch up to them. And if it can't, all that energy is wasted. We know that in the wild, agility is really important, and a lot of times the prey gets away. The second problem with the liger is its inability to hide. Tigers are masters of camouflage. They move silently among the trees. But lions are quite like that. But since they hunt in groups, they make up for it with their strategy. But the liger doesn't have either of these traits. It's so big that it can't blend into the background. And it's not really into being part of a group either. So if it makes a mistake while hunting, there's no one to cover for it and finish the job. Let's talk about instinct. Hunting isn't just about claws and agility. It's a skill that has to be learned. Cubs learn from their mothers and practice with small prey. But ligers that are raised in captivity don't have this experience. So if you release a liger into the wild, it might not even know what to do with a live animal in front of it. What I mean is, it doesn't have any how to hunt software installed. So it would have to start learning how to hunt all on its own. Now, let's say a liger finally learns how to hunt, but the story doesn't end there. It also has to be able to keep its prey for itself. In the wild, there's always something trying to steal the carcass. Hyenas, leopards, or wild dogs. So a lone liger has to learn to fight for every meal. On the other hand, when it comes to fighting off scavengers,